It's hero time? Again. In 2026, Ben Tennyson returns, not as the cartoon kid we grew up with, but as a live-action, grounded, emotionally driven hero, reimagined for a darker cinematic era. The new Ben 10 2026 movie doesn't just adapt the classic Cartoon Network formula of a boy and his alien watch, it rebuilds it from the ground up. From its moody cinematography to its realistic alien transformations and high-stakes sci-fi plot, this film aims to answer one question. What would really happen if a normal teenager suddenly became the most valuable weapon in the galaxy? Our story opens far from the familiar summer road trip vibes of the Rust Bucket. Ben Tennyson is now a city kid, living a relatively ordinary life in a modern, slightly dystopian 2026 world where news feeds buzz with rumors of unexplained phenomena, sightings of strange lights in the sky, and whispers of a new kind of global threat. He's anxious about his future, distant from his parents, and caught between wanting to stand out and wanting to disappear. This version leans heavily into the reluctant hero archetype, clearly influenced by recent fan concepts that cast him as a grounded, vulnerable teenager, played by a young, high-profile actor. The turning point comes on a late-night trip outside the city. After a tense argument with his family, Ben storms off into the forest, headphones on, drowning out the world. Above him, a fiery object tears across the sky, slamming into the woods with a shockwave that knocks him to the ground. Curiosity overrides fear. Ben stumbles into a smoking crater, expecting space debris or maybe a secret government drone. Instead, he finds a sleek, biomechanical device pulsing with emerald light, the Omnitrix. The first contact is intimate and unsettling. The watch doesn't just clip onto his wrist, it lunges, wraps, and fuses, sending a surge of alien data through his body. Ben screams, visions flashing before his eyes. Alien worlds, war, and an imposing silhouette, Vilgax, rising out of the void. And just like that, the kid who wanted to disappear becomes the most important target in the universe. First transformations, power as horror. One of the film's strongest sequences is Ben's first uncontrolled transformation. Rather than treating it as instant wish fulfillment, the movie plays it like body horror mixed with superhero awe. Alone in the forest, panicking, Ben smashes at the Omnitrix dial. The device clicks, the faceplate rotates, and before he can process what's happening, his skin ignites, bones stretching, eyes burning like lava. In a matter of seconds, he becomes Heatblast, towering, unstable, flames licking the air around him, trees catch fire, the ground cracks, and Ben, now Heatblast, is as terrified as the audience. He tries to scream, but the sound that comes out is a roaring inferno. It's a clever inversion of the cartoon's "this is awesome" moment. Here, power is terrifying before it's empowering. Eventually, the Omnitrix times out, dropping him to the ground naked, burned and shaking. This is the film's thesis in one scene. The Omnitrix is not a toy. It's a weapon, and wielding it has consequences. No Ben 10 story works without the people who keep him grounded. Gwen Tennyson in this 2026 version isn't just the smart cousin tagging along. She's an emotional anchor and a budding mystic. When Ben returns from the forest, traumatized and clearly hiding something, she's the first to notice. Their dynamic mixes sibling-style teasing with genuine concern. Gwen has her own secrets, strange symbols that glow on her skin when she is stressed, flashes of intuition that feel more like spells than logic. Levin enters later, not as an instant ally, but as a morally ambiguous wildcard. He's older, has a record, and seems to know more about alien tech than he should. At first, Ben sees him as a threat. Gwen sees him as trouble. Over time, Kevin becomes the reluctant partner, someone who has danced dangerously close to the darkness the Omnitrix represents. In this film, Max is less quirky road trip grandpa and more retired covert operative with deep ties to a hidden organization monitoring extraterrestrial activity on Earth. His reaction to the Omnitrix isn't surprise, it's dread. He's known something like this was coming, and he knows exactly who will come for it. They slow the pace, let us breathe between explosions, And they remind us that beneath the aliens and VFX, this is a story about a boy forced to grow up too fast and the people trying to keep him human. A weapon like the Omnitrix never exists in a vacuum. While Ben struggles to understand his new abilities, something vast stirs in deep space: Vilgax. The film frames him less as a mustache-twirling villain and more as a cosmic warlord, scarred from previous conflicts, obsessed with reclaiming what he considers his rightful property. The Omnitrix in his eyes is not a gift. It's a stolen superweapon designed to reshape war across the universe. His arrival is teased through intercepted transmissions, ominous radar anomalies, and sudden attacks by smaller alien forces on Earth. These early antagonists serve as both action set pieces and thematic mirrors. Each encounter forces Ben to use a different alien form: XLR-8 in a high-speed chase through a rain-slicked city, Diamondhead in a brutal warehouse brawl, Four Arms in a collapsing subway tunnel. Earth quickly becomes a battleground. Governments scramble to respond, conspiracy theories explode online, and underground groups vie for control of alien tech falling out of the sky. In the middle of all this chaos stands a teenager with an alien watch and no handbook. One of the film's more intriguing choices is treating the Omnitrix almost like a living character. The device doesn't just respond to Ben's commands, it anticipates, resists, and sometimes outright denies him. Early on, he tries to select specific aliens, only for the dial to glitch, throwing him into forms he doesn't want at the worst possible moments. As the story progresses, Ben starts having visions while transformed, memories that aren't his own. He briefly feels the lives of the aliens encoded in the Omnitrix, their homes, their wars, their fears. The message is clear. Every transformation is not just power, it's responsibility. These are not skins or combat presets. They are entire species, and Ben is borrowing their existence. This idea pays off in a powerful mid-movie scene. After a disastrous mission where Ben, as a hulking alien, causes collateral damage and injures civilians, he finally breaks down. He blames the watch. He blames Max for not telling him everything. He blames himself. For a moment, he tries to rip the Omnitrix off, clawing at his own skin until he bleeds. The device tightens, responds with a blinding surge of energy, and Ben collapses. When he wakes, Gwen and Max are there. They don't tell him it's okay. They tell him the truth. He didn't choose this, but what he does next is his choice. That's what makes him a hero or a monster. By the third act, the movie fully embraces its blockbuster scale. Vilgax's ship enters Earth's orbit, sending shockwaves through the atmosphere. Cities experience blackouts, satellites fail, and alien drones begin descending across major population centers, searching for the Omnitrix's unique signature. Ben, Gwen, Kevin, and Max are forced out of the shadows. They can no longer treat this as a secret problem. The world is watching, and the world is afraid. Max reactivates old contacts, hinting at a wider plumber's network operating behind the scenes. But even they are outmatched by Vilgax's technology. Ben will use the Omnitrix not just as a weapon, but as bait. He will deliberately broadcast its energy signature, drawing Vilgax's main force away from Earth's cities and toward an isolated confrontation zone, an abandoned coastal facility that becomes the stage for the final act. On the way there, the film gives us one of its best dialogue scenes. In a quiet moment in the back of a transport vehicle, Gwen asks Ben what he's most afraid of. He doesn't say dying. He says, "I'm scared that when I'm one of them, I'm not really me anymore." That line cuts deep, tying back to the central identity struggle. Is Ben the boy, the aliens, or something in between? The climax, hero time redefined. The final battle is a carefully controlled escalation rather than a mindless CGI storm. Ben becomes XLR-8, racing through incoming fire, dodging energy blasts as he tries to draw Vilgax's attention. The sound design emphasizes every footstep, every near miss, making you feel the fragility beneath the alien shell. As Four Arms, Ben trades brutal punches with Vilgax's elite enforcers, each blow sending shockwaves through the crumbling complex. Kevin backs him up, absorbing and redirecting energy in ways that flirt dangerously close to losing control. Gwen holds a protective barrier over fleeing civilians, her magic straining against the alien tech. But the real confrontation is between Ben and Vilgax himself. When they finally stand face to face, Vilgax doesn't roar threats. He offers Ben a choice. Give up the Omnitrix, join his empire, and he will spare Earth by turning it into a controlled protectorate under his rule. The galaxy, he claims, is too dangerous to be left in the hands of a frightened child. It's a temptation wrapped in logic. And for a second, Ben hesitates. Maybe the universe really is safer in the hands of someone who understands it better. Maybe he isn't worthy of holding so many lives on his wrist. Then he remembers the visions, the alien worlds, the screams. He realizes that Vilgax doesn't want to protect the galaxy. He wants to own it. The Omnitrix was never meant to be a tool of conquest. It was meant to be a bridge between species, a way to understand, not dominate. Ben's final transformation in the climax is less about spectacle and more about meaning. Rather than choosing the biggest, strongest alien, he chooses the one that best represents balance and control. Whether it's a nod to Alien X or a more grounded composite form, the message is the same. True strength is not raw power, but the ability to make the hard choice and stand by it. The battle ends not with Vilgax's dramatic death, but with his defeat and retreat, wounded and humiliated, promising that this is not the end. His ship tears away from Earth's atmosphere, leaving behind wreckage, in the uneasy knowledge that the universe now knows exactly where the Omnitrix is. Resolution, a new kind of hero. In the aftermath, Earth has changed. News outlets show shaky footage of Ben in alien form saving civilians. Conspiracy channels debate whether he's a government experiment, an invader, or a guardian. The plumbers quietly expand their operations, preparing for whatever comes next. Ben sits on the roof of his home, the city lights flickering below. The Omnitrix, for once, is quiet. He asks Gwen if she thinks he did the right thing. She doesn't give him a cheesy, comforting answer. She says, "I think you did the only thing you could live with." Max joins them, placing a hand on Ben's shoulder. "Heroes don't get happy endings," he says. "They get responsibilities." It's a heavy line, but it fits the tone of this 2026 reimagining. More mature, more introspective, less interested in easy victories. The movie closes on a classic line, but with new weight. Ben looks at the stars, at the infinite unknown ahead, and quietly says, "It's hero time." This time, it doesn't sound like a catchphrase. It sounds like a promise. Review. What the 2026 Ben 10 gets right as a film? This 2026 Ben 10 reimagining succeeds most where it leans into character and consequence. The darker tone never fully abandons the spirit of the original series. Instead, it translates that Saturday morning adventure energy into a modern sci-fi coming-of-age story. Character-driven storytelling that treats Ben as a flawed, evolving teenager rather than a perfect superhero. Impressive alien transformations that feel physical and risky, not just flashy VFX demos. A compelling portrayal of the Omnitrix as a burden and a bridge between species, not just a power-up device. Supporting characters, Gwen, Kevin, Max, who have their own arcs and moral conflicts. If there's a weakness, it's that the movie occasionally leans so hard into grit and drama that it risks losing some of the playful fun that made the original Ben 10 cartoon so iconic. Some fans may miss the lighter, episodic adventures, the jokes, and the more colorful alien designs. But for viewers looking for a cinematic, high-stakes reimagining that treats the source material with respect while aiming for a broader sci-fi audience, this 2026 version delivers a strong foundation. Ultimately, Ben 10, 2026, isn't just about a boy with an alien watch. It's about identity, responsibility, and what it means to carry the weight of entire worlds on your wrist and still try to be a kid. That's a story worth telling, and a hero worth revisiting.